Welcome back to the bench. Today we have a C64 board, one of the later ones that were produced to test. I picked this off eBay quite cheap because, as you can see, the VIC-2, the timing chip and the SID chip are missing. So obviously somebody has just stripped this for the main chips, or the expensive chips that were socketed, and then just sold the board. No idea whether it's going to work or not. So yeah, we're going to find out. Now this is a 250469 board. It's a Rev B, PCB number 252311. If we look at the chips, the date codes, the 31st week of 1990. So yeah, same for these, 3390, that's a little bit later, that just says 89 on the PLA. This board is, from what I understand, is more reliable than the much earlier boards because the PLA and some other logic and the color RAM have all been implemented in this ASIC here. You just got the two RAM chips here making up your 64K, so I'm guessing those are 64 by 4 bits. Yeah, and the basic and the kernel were integrated into one chip. So the thing to do is to what I do is just plug it in first of all, and then just test a few voltages, make sure that there is power getting to the board. I do have a VIC-2 chip, and the SID chip and the timing chip, which all came out of one of my other machines, which does work, so I know those chips are working. And these are actually date coded 92, so quite late in the life of the C64 there. So we've got our power, so I just want to plug it in, turn it on, and make sure that nothing goes pop first of all, and then just check the voltages on here that are coming from the power supply. So we'll turn our meter on, and we should have 5 volts here, and we do. So that's good. So we know that our 5 volts coming in is good. This is going to be our AC signal. The fuse looks okay. Yeah, 4.9 there, almost 4.9, there's a little bit of loss. So it looks like there's nothing shorted on the board. I'm not sure which pins on this chip are the 5 volts and ground. On the VIC, on the SID it should be these, but this socket is actually not very accessible. Okay, yeah, so we've got 9 volts there because the SID uses a higher voltage. Presumably internally it halves that so that you can give an AC waveform. Who knows? So yeah. So the SID is the right one for this board. But I think first what I want to do is just hook it up and see if it's going to boot first before I put the SID chip in there. There's our VIC-2, this is our timing chip. Okay, and we will connect our video. Was it this one? Yeah. Okay, let's see if we get some output from it. Okay, and contact. And yeah, we get a black screen. So obviously this board does have a fault with it, and that's why they took the chips off and sold it. Okay, so let's put this test cartridge in and see if we get anything. No, we're just getting a completely blank screen. Let's just test. Yeah, the power's good there. So, why are we getting no picture? Is it going to be a simple fault, or is it going to be the processor's quite warm after only being on a few seconds? Oh yeah, that's getting red hot. Yeah. So it looks like the problem with this board is a dead processor. So that is soldered onto the board. So in order to fix this or to test it, I first need to take this chip off and put a socket in its place, which is easy enough to do. But then the problem is I don't have another one that I can put in there. Presumably you can put in a normal 6510. I'm not sure if there's any differences between this chip and the earlier ones, but yeah, judging by the temperature of that, I would say that that is our fault. So let's get this unsoldered and see if I can find another one. I might have to desolder the chip from my other C64 then in order to test it. But that was definitely getting extremely hot. It was hot enough to burn. So yeah, definitely a CPU problem. It's now a few days later, and as you can see, I've socketed all the main ICs after I did the initial testing and found that the CPU was getting hot. I replaced that, and then the character ROM and the basic and kernel ROM, they also started getting hot, so I replaced them too. And then didn't work, so I replaced both the CIAs and the RAM, and the board still doesn't work. All the chips are completely dead. So the only conclusion is that this was a victim of the power breaker death. Somebody plugged it in to see if it still worked, the power supply had gone bad, and it just fried all the main chips. When I got it, the SID, VIC and the timing chip, they were already gone, but I suspect that they were probably dead too. Somebody probably took them off, and because of the valuable chips, they probably sold them as untested, which is probably a little unscrupulous, but these things happen. There are those kinds of people out there. So yeah, this will just go into the to the parts bin. Maybe at some point I get hold of another Super PLA. This is the version that has the color RAM built into it. Unfortunately, it's not viable to buy one off the internet. They're like 30-40 euros now, and there is no modern replacement like there is on the earlier versions of PLA. So yeah, unfortunately we couldn't resurrect this one, but at a later date we might be able to salvage something from it. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me an Australian thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Click the bell icon if you want to get notified of future uploads. And as always, thank you for watching.